Yes, what is love? Well, we'll just look at its characteristics or what we associate with it. If someone's loving, they're ideally they're understood to be doing that and relating in a way that is beneficial to you, that values you and is wanting to help, wanting to be good. So love has the association of fuzziness, I think it's referred to lightly, in that we sort of feel, someone's well disposed towards us. It's associated with goodness, with kindness, with helpfulness, with the relief from the struggles of life into some sort of haven of caring and harmony and that which is good and beneficial and speaks of life itself. So love is both an outward appearance, an action, actions that are good, deliberately motivated by good intention to help you, motivated by a good intention to love and care for you, to do that which brings goodness to you. And it's also experienced as what I've said here is the fuzziness of as a joy to receive that someone loves you. It's goodness, associated with goodness. And the body reacts accordingly to being loved in that it feels it motivates, it mobilizes itself in an environment of being cared for and helped, and so it performs accordingly, appropriately to such. So love is both an intention to do good, to help others, to love. Even to love your car is to, in some sense, value it, take care of it, and give it pride of place, you know. How much more when it comes to people, children, partners, and so forth, friends, relatives, yeah. So, we know what love is from the point of view of its manifestation, and it's so closely associated with what we take to be good creativity. It is that. And so we say God is love. He's a creator and a good creator. It's not just the power, an all-powerful God is someone to be feared if he didn't love you. But if he's love as well and all-loving and loves you in particular, then you're probably well disposed to the existence of such a being, well disposed to the hope that such a person exists, for instance. In other words, life that you value is inevitably going to lead to wanting God to exist. It's inevitable. You value love. Love is what we ascribe to our understanding of God. We take that as an essential quality of our God. If he's not loving of us, at least, then, we're repelled, aren't we? We value what we value, and we assume that, therefore, our God can only be someone who cares for us. And I guess we're right, we wouldn't exist otherwise, would we? You know, if our God was someone that didn't care for us, it's hard to see how we could exist, isn't it? Except for some other God that did, in which case we'd change horses quickly, I think. Because our existence turns on a desire to exist. If we desire not to exist, well, that comes about very quickly. And we know all about that. Okay, so we understand love, and we understand that love is of God and is an essential feature of our God. And from it and consistent to that, we can discern all other things. So the first commandment is quite simply, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. In other words, embrace this being that you understand to truly love you. And that has to be the right way to go. I mean, it's sheer logic, isn't it? Whether God existed or not, you'd still say that had to be true, you see. Yes. I like things like that. I don't mean it overcomes the uncertainty of whether God exists or not. I do mean it overcomes the uncertainty of which way to go. And that's astonishing, isn't it? It's very clear which way to go. Astonishing. Let me pause a moment. We know that we can only value a God that loves us. And that if he does, we can only love him. We couldn't love it. I mean, we necessarily love him. Sure, we would love anyone else who is of the same mind, but but the essential feature is that he loves us. And to not then love him would be to destroy ourselves, which is, we'd be seeking annihilation. I don't think we'd last. If that was fundamental to us, then we would not exist now. I think we've never got to this level of existence. The next question is, what happens though if God doesn't exist? Well, then it's hard to say that we exist, because you're back to, you mean we're just here by chance? We're extremely sophisticated being. Even our body's incredibly sophisticated. I say even, it's staggeringly sophisticated. Chance is scarcely an explanation. We need to explain why this chance should result in such astonishing existence from what, nothing? How could even existence exist? And I don't mean that God gives us the answer as to how, in that sense. It simply defers it to, there's some explanation that is, from our perspective, extremely benevolent in that it's resulted in our existence. We're pretty clear with Descartes that we exist because we're thinking. I think, therefore I am, sort of logic. And how has this come? Why should it be? Whatever truly is seems to have caused or be the resulted in our existence, which we value greatly. Right. Well, I'm not going to deny then the cause. I don't know what the cause is. I don't know what's caused this wonderful creative predisposition of perhaps non-existence to result in my existence, but I certainly value it. I'd be madman not to. I mean, that's what my life is. So we start actually from the obvious. Our very existence must be something to do with that which we value. And we certainly value existence, or we wouldn't stay existing very long. That is my God, creator of all that I value. And I can't define him, I can't, except to say that. I can say that's his feature from my point of view. And it's only my point of view that I have. From where I'm living is what I'm seeing. And I value it. And I feel I'm born of it, I'm a result of whatever my God is. So I'm a child of God, and He is the one that creates all this that I value, or has created it, or is the cause, or is responsible. And my goodness, I value what He is. It's not that I have to discern His character. All I have to discern is, what do I value? Do I value love? Right. That's one of His essential features then. Because it's what I value is what I value. Do you see, when I personify God to those things that I value, I mean, I might value justice and kindness and forgiveness and joy and peace and, all the characteristics that we normally attribute to God. The very fact that I value these things means I attribute them to God. I can tell you in great measure the character of God, His values, from what I value. You see, we have, as a scientist, we've been treating reality as out there. I look at the objective world and analyze how it behaves. But it's not. My reality that's important to me is my being. And that seems to turn on certain values. Right. That's my God. It can only be my God, because if I had other values, they might not result in me. And I find, of course, on reflection, that certain things I've included in the mix are not what I value. They're actually destructive. It might be like having power over other people. I love bossing people. It's wonderful to be the king, And I realized after a while, no, that's not what I value. I value an egalitarian family setup, not an authoritarian world structure. The world structure is very good in that it's obviously part of this mix that is sustaining me. But I can perceive in that some better ideal to which I'm predisposed. And I'm modifying the world structure as hard as I can towards those goals. So the world structure might imply wasting some of our people in wars, and I'm feeling I don't like that. Can we move towards something better? In other words, I can conceive of a God that's beyond, greater than, better than the world structure that I'm experiencing. And I'm not sure, of course, then I go into the realm of the unknown, because perhaps that would imply my annihilation. Perhaps we have to have the poor always with us. We have to have suffering. And there's many philosophies that are along that line. There's some retribution, there's punishment, and it's valid, it's justice, it's part of the justice system. It's necessary. And others of us think, well, perhaps it's not necessary. Can we conceive of overcoming and doing something better, and still surviving, and surviving much more happily and wonderfully? You see, it's part of our astonishing creativity, isn't it? We're children of God, for goodness sake. We're looking to an open future, a universe where things can get better and more wonderful, more life, in fact, greater true life as we value it. We're children of God. Brave new world, isn't it, you see? Yes. So we understand love and we understand God. And in a sense we get a feeling for why the concept of God works. It's functional, for goodness sake. Look at the joy that comes from considering the loveliness of such a person as God. Whether he existed or not, of course he exists, because we exist. We are the evidence of God. Our very being, our very existence is the evidence of God. Our God, the one we value, because we value life. And if you don't, it's very sad, and you vanish from the scene quite quickly. So we thank you for this revelation, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Heavenly Father.